There's the lens. Catch. And I want you to notice, you see that the lens is attached to some gelatin in the back? That gelatin in the back is called vitreous humor. This is vitreous humor. And this is what fills the posterior chamber of the eye.
Is that the same thing as aqueous?
No, aqueous is in the front.
Oh.
Aqueous is what you saw squirting out. This is vitreous. See how it's gelatinous? Okay? And I want you, when you take your lens out of your eye, I want you to touch it, and you'll notice that it's really hard. It's called a crystalline lens. What allows you to see far away and close up is this lens changing shape. When you look far away, your lens actually flattens out. When you look close up, your lens becomes lemon-shaped like it is right now. Okay? So there are this little group of muscles called ciliary muscles. You see them here? Zonular fibers and ciliary muscles that are attached to that lens that actually change the shape of that lens. So, going inside the eye now. Am I off camera? Sorry. So what else do I need? Tell me the other things I need to know. The hole in the middle. Okay, so first of all, you'll notice if I put the blood probe all the way in the front and I'm touching the inside, I'm touching the cornea. Do you want to turn that light off and see if that's a little bit? Is that a little better? Guys, there we go. Is that better? Yeah. So if I'm touching that cornea, when my probe is in there, I'm actually in the anterior chamber of the eye where that aqueous humor is. Okay? When I touch this. And you'll see there's like a little lip around it. You see here? And that hole, this hole that I'm poking through, that's the pupil.
Which hole?
This hole. That's the pupil. So this area around the eye here, this area, the circular muscle, this muscle is able to open and close so that the pupil gets larger and smaller. If you go into bright light, it'll get very small to prevent the light from damaging the retina, right? If you're in dark, then your pupils get really large. And a lot of you may have gone and had your eyes checked and had your pupils dilated. Mm-hmm. They put drops in your eye to get your pupil to be very large so that you're able to see into your eye. Hey, Thomas. Okay? So all of this is the ciliary body, all of this dark region around the inside of the eye here. Okay? So here's the pupil, it's the hole. That front chamber is the anterior chamber. And then back here in the back, this is the posterior chamber. And one of the things I want you to notice about that posterior chamber, you're going to see in here, there's a membrane. Do you see me moving it?
Yes.
That is your retina. That membrane is your retina. Underneath it, there's a layer that looks like abalone. Can you turn off the light, somebody? Let's see if that helps, because it's really, I'm having a hard time showing you this. Maybe, let's see. Is that better?
Yeah.
All right. So do you see this here? All of this here that I'm poking around, that's the retina. The only thing holding that retina in place is the vitreous humor. And so you were asking about going blind. Sometimes people have automobile accidents or they become hypovolemic, their blood pressure drops a lot, they don't have a lot of fluid in their body, and their retina will detach. And then they can't see because the retina is the nervous tunic of the eye and it contains the rods and cones that allow you to see. Now it's only attached to the eye at one spot, and that spot right here is where the optic nerve goes out and the blood vessels go out. And that spot is called the optic disc, and it's the blind spot. It's where the optic nerve leaves the eye, and it's the only place where it's actually attached. Now, there is a part, I can't show you on this eye, it's impossible, it's too small, that's just above the optic disc, and it's actually the visual center of the eye. And that is where the largest concentration of cones are found. That's called the fovea centralis. Thomas, don't talk. Thank you. That's called the fovea centralis. Okay? So again, from the outside, this tough tunic on the outside, that is called the sclera. The one that looks like abalone on the inside, that's called the vascular tunic. I'm dumping out some of this liquid so maybe you can see it better. See, it looks like abalone. That is the choroid layer. This choroid layer, do you see it? It's sort of, I can touch it. It kind of comes off. See it? Kind of black and like like an abalone shell, kind of. Underneath it, if I pull it off, underneath it it's white, that's the sclera. This next layer is the choroid, and then this brown membrane that moves around is the retina. So you can imagine now that people can detach their retina. It can actually come right off the back of your eye. And you can't see. Huh? Yeah, but usually what they do is they have to actually rehydrate you. They have to get fluid back in there. Okay? So from the outside again, if I touch the outside, this would be conjunctiva, right?
Yeah.
Underneath that is the cornea, which is the clear portion of the eye in the front. The hard, bony part around that continues from the cornea would be the sclera. Okay? The next layer inside the eye would be the vascular tunic, which is called the choroid. Looks like abalone, like an abalone shell, real pretty. And then the next layer on the inside, that's this membrane that moves around, that would be the retina. And that is attached in one spot, and the spot where it's attached is going to be the blind spot, or the optic disc. It's called the blind spot or the optic disc. And that's continuous with the optic nerve, and I'd have to pick at this. I haven't done that, but you can kind of see it coming out here. See? That's the optic nerve coming out of the back of the eye. I would have to kind of pick at it so you can find it. Okay, it's coming out of the back of the eye here. So that's the optic nerve right there. Coming out. Everybody okay with this? And then, of course, again, laying on the table here, the crystalline lens. Sitting in this, all of this attached to it would be the vitreous humor, the gelatinous that sits in the posterior chamber of the eye. And then there's some zonular muscles attached to that. You can see. All right? All right.